Welcome back to the TriFecta Airsoft podcast. I'm your host, E-Rock. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you never miss another podcast. Also, do me a favor. Go on to whatever podcast app you listen to us on and give us a rating and review. That really helps us rank in the searches. Thank you so much. Let's get into the podcast. Welcome.
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Got your Ghostbuster shirt on?
Yeah, I was actually taking a nap.
Oh, yeah.
Woke up, I set an alarm, like, yeah, I don't really, I normally sleep during the day and work at night.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah.
and it's one of my off days, so I like to try to catch up on sleep.
Oh, I
Put
don't
in.
blame you. Yeah, I worked night shift for a lot of years, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
I actually prefer it. Real
I
nice,
did too.
you know.
Yeah. I had flexibility,
Yeah, yeah, I got flexibility, I got a little autonomy, and I'm able to do a little bit more, but I like working at night better than day because you don't got so many eyes watching you. I mean, not that you got to do anything wrong. It's just like, it's just like not so many eyes, like,
It's a
keeping
lot easier.
tabs. Yeah, maybe you go and smoke an extra cigarette or something like that, or take an extra little 5 minute break. You ain't got somebody
Yeah,
like, oh, we taking an extra break. That's the cool part.
I hear you. Yeah, man. And is it, what kind of work is it?
I work at a factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, like low level management, I guess you can call it.
Yeah.
So I run a small group of people, and we just do what we do at night, get
I
stuff
gotcha.
done.
What do you guys make there?
We make quite a few things actually. We supply the North American continent, uh, apples and juices and sodas,
Okay.
tomato sauces. Um, One cool thing we make, I don't even think I'm allowed to say that, but we make one thing in Canada for Canada that we don't make here, and I've never got to try it. I've got to see it, but I've always wanted to just go to Canada and grab a case of those I guess those iced teas, that really popular brand of teas that everyone likes to drink. Well, they make an alcohol version of that,
Oh,
and they sell that in Canada. And I
okay.
was like, oh man, that sounds great. I actually don't even drink alcohol. So,
Yeah.
and I just want to try it because I was like, I didn't even know they made this. And this is
Yeah.
actually a product.
Okay. So, do you guys do, at your factory, do you do, is it plastic? Is it plastics?
um, yeah, we use plastics. We do this one thing. We blow plastic too there, which is pretty cool. Not my department, so I don't know how they do it. I
Yeah.
just know that these boxes come in of these little tubes like this, and then they turn into big old jugs of another very popular fruit juice that
Huh.
comes in gallon jugs.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool too, because I was always wondering how they ship those gallon jugs there, because that's got to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And with like mason jars, they get them when you do mason jars, they ship those. But when you do gallon jugs, man, I was like, they can't ship those the way that they do those little mason jars. And yeah, they come in like little tubes that look like vials, and they get blow blasted into that gallon jug.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, I
Hmm.
worked plastic extrusion for quite a few years, all different kinds. We did made. I worked at a place that made solo cups and then medicine cups. All the plastic solo cups and everything, and then made all kind of crazy stuff. We made big. Worked at another place that made big rolls of plastic film, real thin. The stuff that we would send those rolls out for like a place that would make trash bags out of them, or another section of rolls that we made were like for the medical industry, for like the liner for IV bags, shit like that. Yeah.
I did work at this one factory for a couple days. They called it a machine operator when I got the job. And it was funny.
Right.
Um, Actually, you weren't a machine operator. The machine, what you were the machine. So the machine would the machine would like take these pieces of plastic and cut them into pieces that they would use at the meat packing places,
Yeah.
and you would just sit there with a giant bag and try to like put them in a bag as they were coming out of the machine. And
Oh,
I was like, yeah, nah, man, I'm not doing that. But, I mean, they paid really well actually for what you did, but it was just so much crazy work. And your
yeah.
back and your knee. I was like, yeah, that's a young man's game right there. That's
Oh,
not
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I went to this job interview that, the company Bausch and Lomb. They make the
Yeah,
contact solution for your,
yeah.
contacts.
They're created here.
Yeah. So we have two big plants here in South Carolina,
Nice.
and so they one of the jobs they wanted me to uh, stand in this room, and this giant bin, this giant silver, stainless steel bin would fill with the plastic bottles, and we would have to, scoop them up and put them into this other thing or whatever. It was really, boring, monotonous kind of work, but everything in there was a clean room. So everything had to be, sterilized completely. So you had to put on a full hazmat suit basically before you'd go in. And so you would get geared up, and then before you could enter that room, you had to be tested. So it would take a good 15, 20 minutes for you to actually get into the room, because they would tap with this little swab thing
Mhm.
different parts of your body after you had the suit on, to make sure you didn't contaminate it putting it on. So you had to put it on a certain way, like nothing of your feet, your hands, whatever, could touch the outside of the suit as you're putting it on. So, and if you had any kind of contaminants on the outside, you had to start all over,
Ooh.
derobe, get a new suit on. And these were, they weren't the hazmat suits that are like, they were like the painter suits, but they were sterilized
Mhm.
and with the zipper and stuff. So, anyway, but once you got in, the pay for that position was crazy high for what you were doing, because they couldn't find anybody, to stay there. And when people, and they had great benefits, like they didn't do, uh, a hiring agency, a temp agency. They were direct hiring. So they did all their own interviews. They did what, so if you got hired for the job, you were hired directly on. You didn't have a probation period. So you got, the first month you would start getting your vacation, start getting your medical, all that shit. So a lot of benefits to try to keep people in this position, because we had talked to some people that worked at that position that were like, it is the boringest job. Like, you want to kill yourself, bro. And it's 12-hour shift. So you're literally standing in this spot, moving these empty plastic bottles onto this little conveyor belt, basically. And we were like, no. Actually, a guy that I knew that I worked with at this other place where we met, he took that job and lasted. I asked him later how long he lasted. He said like 3 months. He said, I couldn't do it, man. It was too boring. There are some of those where they're so like the pay's really good. It's like a great job.
Yeah.
'Cause people are always like, man, this job's too hard. It's, so much work. This job was the opposite. It was so little work. It was, I think, the really putting on the suit and going through that whole process was what really, because if you have to, take a piss or something, 30 minutes into your standing in there, man, you got to wait
Yeah,
for somebody to come in there and replace you. Then you got to go get through the whole process again to get back in. So, yeah,
yeah, I could see why. I had one of the guys I work with worked at one of the big companies here, and they were adding an addition to the company. But for them to, I guess, like finance it through the company, they had
right,
to have somebody there. So they built the warehouse and they just sat him in here in the warehouse. There was no machines, nothing to do, just a body. They needed a body in there so that they could continue pumping money into that building.
right.
So for 4 years, he sat in that machine getting 50K a year, doing absolutely nothing but sitting there,
Holy
just
shit.
walking around, no nothing to do.
Oh my God, that's wild.
I was like, yo, I don't even like. I was like, I mean, I like an easy job, but that's a little bit too easy. Like, I would
Yeah,
lose my mind just sitting there.
for real.
Like, can't go outside. Like, but yeah, no, Basham Lam. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Basham Lam, Xerox, Kodak, and another couple companies were all created here in
Yep.
Rochester, New York. So
Okay.
that's our little claim to fame is that we were like huge industrial city back in like the early '60s and '70s and '80s.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
why
the
people flocked
Northeast,
here. But
man. The
now,
Northeast was like the manufacturing capital,
hmm
years and years and years ago. Cleveland, Ohio, where I grew up and where I worked at a lot of these different factories, they, same thing. We'd had, I worked at a place that made transmission parts for GM and Ford.
hmm
So it's, and then of course, BF Goodrich was huge back in the day and Goodyear and all that. And a lot of those factories moved over the
yeah,
last 30 years or whatever. And a lot of them, there's a lot of companies, popping up down here in South Carolina. Plastic extrusion has been huge here in South Carolina for, I guess, a long time. And so, yeah, there's a lot of,
probably easier there. It's hot. You ain't got
yeah,
to worry about the cold temperatures outside.
yeah.
Over here, it sucks.
Hell yeah. Well, man, your background looks cool as hell. I want to ask you a couple things about it behind you, but we met. You go by Sicario.
Yeah,
Is that
GQ.
your call sign?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. And I met you through um, King Lobo, right?
yep,
Hell yeah.
yep.
Because you and him started Flawless Technique.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we did that
Hell yeah.
a year
That's cool, man. So your background there, you got a big, is that a banner at the very top that says health and mana?
Yeah, yeah, I got a couple painted banners in the ring. I have one over the door that says game over. There's another one by that door there. It says Temple of Doom. That's where the bathroom is. This
Oh,
is just a
okay.
little game room I have downstairs.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yep.
and then you got a flag up there that says SpeedSoft.
Yep. I got the SpeedSoft and the Flawless Technique flag.
Okay.
Got my rigs, one from Speed QB, one from SpeedSoft, and then a couple other things in my guns. I got a couple. I got one being built right now from King Lobo, a high kappa. As a matter of fact, I should have checked the mail today. I should have a Monk's Custom adapter in the mail,
Oh shit.
and then all that other stuff.
Yeah, nice. So what are those guns back there? Which one? Explain those.
Oh, so um, this one's my baby. This is an M4.
Ooh, nice.
It's from King's Arm.
Oh yeah.
My boy Ricky built it. 585 shooter. We go by 585 shooters. A teammate of mine. So I got all the parts. He put it all together for me. There's a fusion engine in it, V2 Gen 3. Got 6.2 inner barrel, max hop up. I mean, it's got the works. There's like nothing in this gun that's stock other than like the outside. I just bought
Right.
the gun for the outside. The internals, they were all trash. Well, I mean, I consider them trash.
Right.
So, but like, I mean, but I'm also older. You know what I'm saying? I'm not some 21-year-old kid that can run the field all day. You know, I'm 38 years old. I've had 2 knee surgeries.
Whoa.
I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh
So
shit.
like, so like, my finger is fast. My knees, not so much.
Oh yeah, that's well the gun looks awesome, man. It's like cut out everywhere, skeletonized everywhere.
Yeah, it's the so they actually just put this on sale on eBay. The gun, the King Arms gun, it's the
Yeah.
King Arms TW6 limited edition.
Okay.
Um, I don't know how limited it is because they're always like selling out and going back on sale.
I could never
I'm
figure
pretty
that out
sure.
when they say that. I know, bro.
So, but it is always available. I will tell you this though. As much time that I put in this gun, I still can't take off this damn flash hider. So, and it's loud, dude. It is so loud.
Really?
It, yeah, it's crazy loud. The other gun I got, now I bought this one through Hop Up, and I guess the guy that I bought it from was Eddie Valiant.
That
So
sounds familiar. I feel like I should know that name.
yeah, he's quite a YouTuber, and I don't know if you've had him on your show yet, but yeah, man, he's pretty awesome. Valiant Airsoft, I believe he goes
Okay.
by. Yeah,
I'm
that
sure
dude
I
is
follow
sick.
that page. Okay.
Yeah, so he had built this got a F2 engine in it, and it's the MCX Sig Sauer. I
Oh,
mean, I
nice.
like it. It's got this rail is really beefy. So like just
Yeah, it
putting the
is.
C clamp on it is so comfortable. Um, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep it yet or not. I'm still debating on it. I don't like keeping a large armory of guns. I
Yeah.
like to get one that I really love, and then I'll use that for a year, get another one that I'll swap in and out with things, and then I just keep moving on.
Right.
Whatever comes out new, whatever fancies my
Now,
boat.
are both of those HPA'd?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
that's right. You
thinking
said
about
yeah, it had a fusion. Yeah, fusion engine.
getting maybe a GBBR. I got a custom pistol being built, like I said. That should be done sometime this week. For I want to use it this weekend for an open play, and then I'm gonna take it down to EA Fest next weekend. So we're
Oh,
going down
gotcha.
there.
Yeah. Cool. So how did you guys meet and then start your Flawless Technique team?
Um,
Have you known Lobo long?
Not too long actually, just a couple years.
Yeah.
We had met. I was yeah, I guess this is a while. I'm not. I don't know. Um, I guess it all started because I have a bipolar disorder with borderline personality disorder, right?
Okay.
And I was unmedicated. I was I had got laid off from my job, and then COVID hit, and I was just like going through a really bad downward spiral. I just didn't know what to do. I felt useless. My girl, luckily, she's very supportive. She knows what I deal with. So I started, but it started getting really bad. So she
Mm.
liked was starting to tell me like, hey, you need to like go to the doctors. You need to start getting on medications. Like this is getting really bad. So I was like, all right. So we got into a big fight, and I was like, all right, I'll go to the doctor. So I started getting on medication. And I was watching YouTube one day, going down that rabbit hole, and came across airsoft. And I started watching people like Dutch the Hooligan, and who else was I watching? Dutch the Hooligan, Swamp Sniper, Silo, Kicking Mustang.
Yeah.
Kicking Mustang was probably one of my favorites.
Oh,
That,
okay.
that was so funny. I was like, why are they so mad at headshots?
Right.
Is that not part of the game? And I had played, paintball, a long time ago, and I was really into that. So I was like, all right, I need something to do. I need to get out of this house, you
Yeah.
know. So I started. I go out and buy an ARP9, and I play that a couple times, and I don't really like the ARP9,
Okay.
but so I I was like, I hate this thing. So the next week, I give it to my son. Next week, I go out and I had bought the KWA T6, right? And I was like, all right, I like this gun. And so I'm playing with that, and I play a couple games, and then the next time I come in after that, Lobo comes at me, and he's like, hey, he goes, you're new here, right? I've seen you here like a couple times already. And he was like, you play pretty well. He was like, you on a team? And I was like, no. And I was like, I play by myself. And he was like, you interested in being on a team? And I was like, I guess. I don't know. I was like, what does it entail? Because I'm not really into like I I I'm really standoffish with people like in real life. Like if
Yeah.
like if we were in a room right now, I probably wouldn't talk too much to you. I mean, I'd say a couple things here and there, like,
Right.
oh, that's really cool, flag in the background. But other than that, like nothing much. And but I'm getting over that, and that's
Yeah.
he. So he got me on the team that he was on, which was the Lost Boys, um, which now is ran by Steve Connie, Ginger Ninja, most people call him by. And I was there for about a year, maybe a year and a half. And I got the name Sicario there. At first, I had thought it was a really cool name. I kind of looked like the guy in the movie, and then this dude in we were playing this Milsim game, and this I was trying to get into this building, and there was a whole bunch of guys in there. So I threw a grenade, and the people ducked into the building. And as the grenade was landing and exploding, I darted in there and just shot them all with a pistol. And then one dude looks up at me and goes, "That was some real Sicario shit right there." And I was like,
Oh
"Man,
shit.
that cemented it right there." And then the GQ came from a teammate of mine's because we got done with the milsim, and they all want to go out and eat. And I was like, yeah, I'll meet y'all there, and or I'll meet y'all in the elevator. And when we got to the elevator, I had already got showered, changed, dressed, smelling good, looking good. And he was like, "Oh, Mr. GQ, Sicario GQ," and that's how I got the name Sicario GQ.
Okay. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, but then so we uh we ended up leaving the Lost Boys on great terms. We're all still friends. We all get along. We
Yeah.
all still play together. I might actually go see them this Saturday at Chuck Six. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna try at least. So we had started our own team. We started our own team, and that was it. And it all started from there. And people came along. Then I was playing one day, and this one dude was talking junk, just major shit. And but he was shooting, He was talking junk, but he was shooting. He was shooting a lot. It's
Oh yeah.
hilarious. And then that's how me and Ricky became friends. And that's my tech now, Ricky. And
Oh, okay.
585 shooter, yeah. And that's how he got on the team. And Trapper was a lost boy as well. He came on the team. Um, Trapper's a tank, man. I mean, he's a big guy, but he is a battle tank. He will last 24 hours on a mil sim carrying two big ass LMGs, all the BVs on him, for his LMGs. He's a battle tank. And he's got his water with him. The dude's a monster. I love him to death. And he's
Yeah.
always there for you no matter what. That's the greatest support player ever.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
and then we have some other people, and then we got King Lobo leading us. Hey.
What's that?
And then we have King Lobo leading us,
Oh
on the
yeah.
way whenever we're sim or speed games and CQB and all that other stuff.
Hell yeah.
Because I play airsoft. I don't consider myself just one dynamic or one dimensional player. I like to play the LARPing or the RPG games. It's not LARPing. We all get to wear
Right.
our super cool costumes, and play with our super cool toys that we get to build and buy and, you know.
Right. Yeah, it is for sure. Oh, I was trying to piece together what you said because it was cutting out. So
Mm-hmm.
I only heard a couple words. I heard LARPing. That was about it. Uh,
Said,
yeah. I don't know if it's the earbuds or the I'm not sure. You
um,
still hear me okay?
yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, it was like the last minute or so it was cutting out a lot. Uh, so I'm not sure if
Oh, I was
you
just saying that I like to play airsoft and
yeah,
that it's all LARPing. So get to wear our super cool costumes and play with our super cool toy guns that we get to
right.
build or buy. And, like here, especially in New York, we got a lot of dumb gun laws. And,
Yeah.
like you can't own fully automatic rifles. They just passed a new law now where like you have to get a background check and permit or something like that for a rifle. Um, they're just becoming really stringent on the on the guns, which
Yeah.
is fine. I mean, there's certain things that should go into effect, and there's certain things that are just like, all right, like how many more laws do you need before you realize that it's not the gun, it's the person?
Yeah.
Um, but again, you never know when somebody's going to snap either. The person could be a total law-abiding citizen for all their life, and then walk in, catch their wife with some other guy, or catch their husband with some other dude, or catch something doing something that's going to make them, you know, poof.
Do you know anything about that new law that like just in the last few months that something that came up? I can't remember what. Actually, I don't really know what it is. But it's in New York,
Yeah.
and the guy from Zulu 24. Do you know
Hmm.
about that field?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, so I follow their Instagram page. It's like the first few days after that, whatever this thing was. Are you familiar with this new one that just came
Hmm.
out that affects airsoft? I guess
Um,
or
I'm not really sure if it affects airsoft
oh,
because
okay,
airsoft falls under the air gun category,
yeah,
but also it falls under the prop gun and training device.
yeah,
So, like, if airsoft fields decided to say they are now training facilities, so we're now all training. It's just going to be the way to work around it.
yeah,
But toy guns, like the guns that you buy at like uh, Walmart, for kids or whatever, the little cap
yeah,
guns, all those things have to be either now translucent, bright colors. They can no longer be like black, silver, or or one other color. I think it was like blue. They have to be like super bright colors, but it doesn't really. I mean, but then you go to like a gun show, and then you have Glocks that are like Cerakoted purple and pink, and
Right.
it's like. But so we'll see what happens. It's got like
Well,
90 days to take into effect, and that's even if anybody
okay.
really cares, because there's
Right.
laws that are in effect that nobody even enforces.
Mm-hmm.
So like even if a cop does pull you over, I'm going. It should be. Hey, first of all, you should be playing within the rules of airsoft. Your gun should be in a case. It shouldn't be out in your trunk or in your car or anything like that, like underneath a seat. Like don't you know? I mean, for back, look, I don't. I think faster than I speak.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't just don't be stupid. You
Right.
know, do do your right procedures. Put your stuff away. Get the stuff going so that you can transport it safely to your
Yeah.
next location, so that you can have a good time. Because being pulled over and being tasered or whatever because you're trying to explain that it's an airsoft gun to a guy who's very irate from being, not wanting to be shot.
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah, we
people get really weird, especially
yeah, we
like
don't
somebody with
have
a
to
good
worry
dangerous
too much in South Carolina. We're
gun.
you can throw your gun in the back of your truck in the laid in your back seat, like just not in a case, not in a gun rack or a gun bag or anything. Like I'm talking real steel guns too. Either one.
Yeah,
Just if they walk up and see it, like because there's so many people that own guns and have that hunt in South Carolina. They're very used to seeing all that stuff, so it's it's very different for that. But yeah, that I saw the video that the guy from Zulu 24 put out right when that law something, and he was like, "So this new law got passed. So what we should do is panic, panic. Everybody needs to panic." And he was, he's making a joke. He's like, you know, that's what we don't need to do. Okay, just relax. We'll figure out what this thing is about. Whatever. And it was weird. I didn't know that up until that day. I didn't know Zulu 24 was in New York. So I don't know why. I mean, I just followed all of these different pages on Instagram just over the last year or whatever, and didn't know that some of these, where these fields were. So when he said that, I was like, oh, that's that, New York law that just whatever came out. So,
mm.
yeah, it's interesting. Not sure,
I
you know. It
want to
definitely
go out to Zulu 24, but
is
it's
that.
quite a
How
few hours
far is
away.
that for you?
Um,
Do you
I
know?
think it's about a 5 hour drive. Because we are
Yeah,
in
that's
Western New York. We're all the way by close to we're only like an hour and a half to Ontario,
gotcha.
Canada.
Yeah.
But so we play mostly at like River City. There's a place called the War Zone that we play at up here. That's
Mm.
pretty cool. It's like an old junkyard.
Oh,
That was
nice.
pretty dope. There's another spot I just played at for the first time called Buffalo Battlegrounds. Really cool arena. It's
Really?
really small though. Like,
Okay.
maybe 40 steps and you're already at the other spawn, but there's a lot of
Right.
stuff in between, to get to them 40 steps.
Right.
But then we go to events like Otherworld Milsim. I don't know if you've ever
American Muslim?
heard of no, Otherworld Milsim
Oh, Otherworld
by
Muslim.
Jack Tactical, Paul Whitman.
Oh.
He hosts it at EMR Event Park in
Oh, okay.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Um, that dude's awesome, man. That is one hell of an event.
Really?
It got oh yeah. Um, every year that I've been there, it's gotten better. And like you can tell that he puts a lot of time and effort into that event because the event actually goes pretty well. I mean, there's very little issues. He has a cheater system issue. Like if there's a bunch of marshals, right? If they catch you cheating,
Mm,
first you will be warned, hey, stop cheating. But
yeah.
they're not going to kick the cheater off. What they're going to do is they're going to give the other team a ring. And every time a cheater is caught cheating, they give the other team a ring. And every time that ring gets to 8, you get to throw off a tactic or nuke off into one of their points and take all the points that they've accumulated for that hour.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's like so it's an incentive to not cheat,
Right.
which is pretty cool. And then
What's the name of
another
this field or this event?
Other World Milsim by Jack
Uh,
Tactical. His name is
okay.
Paul Whitman.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll show you his Instagram. I'll send you his Instagram link on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and then one other. So one year we go and it's cool mayhem. It's fun. It's shooting. We're in the castles. And then the next year we go. All of a sudden, there's like he's got these like propane cannons now, and like you're shooting, and all of a sudden like boom, you're like, holy shit, what the hell
Oh
was
my
that,
God.
dude? Fucking heart stopping. And then you're shooting, and then boom, and then we figured out it was this like air cannon, and I was like, yo, that is awesome. It made it like more battlefieldish. And
Right.
then another year we come, and he's like, now there's helicopter rides. And so, like, if you watch one of my reels, you'll see me in a helicopter shooting down, and that's a crazy story. Oh, uh,
Oh, so you went on the
I was,
helicopter?
yeah, you'll see the reel, yeah.
Oh, dude.
There's
I'm gonna pull
a
it up
reel on
because
one.
I got your Instagram pulled up uh on the screen. I was gonna share the screen with you because I wanted to go over a couple of pictures and stuff. Um, that is wild. Okay, so this was last year.
This was
They
this
had
year.
this year they had the helicopters.
Yep, it's right, bud.
This event you're talking about, you've been to twice or three times?
He throws three different events: Apocalypse, Night Sky, and Downfall. Each event's a little different.
Yeah.
Um, One of them is more mil simi. One of them is more apocalyptic.
Yeah.
But all of them, you have to like pretty much get points and just beat the other team. It just should
Right.
pretty much just get all the points you can. Oh my
So was
god,
that your first time ever going on a helicopter?
yeah, that was my first time on a helicopter. That was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. I'll probably never do that again.
Why?
Um, so we're on the helicopter. Oh, there it is. If you go into my reels, it's
Yeah.
like how many? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven down, and
Uh-huh.
you'll see a gun pointing down to like shipping containers. It's got like
Oh
90
yeah, I
views
see
on
it.
this one, but on
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull
YouTube
it
it's
up
got
for
like
you.
a couple
Hold on.
thousand.
All right, let's play this thing. Do I need the sound on it, or you want to explain it?
You can the sound is just sound.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll just keep it off then. Oh, this is cool, man. Okay, so
Yeah, that's pretty
that's
awesome.
you right there
Yep.
shooting.
So this is at I believe this was Apocalypse, and this was at Skirmish Paintball in Albright's, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and they have a really cool field. This is about probably mid-April ish, I believe. So
Yeah.
it wasn't too cold or anything like that. It was actually really good weather, probably about 60, 65 degrees out, 50-ish.
Right.
Good hoodie weather. It was great playing weather.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I had thought about doing the helicopter thing, and I decided, no, I'm not going to do it. Like, I didn't pay for it. I was just like, I had thought about it. My girlfriend's like, you should do it. This is like one of your fears about being in planes. You should, try to get over it.
Oh
Because
okay.
we went on vacation. Like, I had to be medicated. I took my medication. One of my
Yeah.
medications put me to sleep. So
Oh okay.
I took that so I can get on the plane to, fly to where we're going.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was like, I told her, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then I like didn't do it. And I'm walking off the field, and Paul's standing there, and he's like, "Hey, come here." And I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Hey, some guy couldn't make it today, and he paid his ticket for the helicopter ride, and instead of wanting a refund, he wanted me to donate it to somebody.
Oh
Would you
shit.
like it?" And I was like, fuck, man, it's got to be fate. Fate. And I was
Right.
like, all right, man. I was like, let's go. So he was like, I was like, when? Because it was like on a time schedule. He was
Yeah.
like, right now. And I was like, dude, I have to like coming off the field to load my mags. Like, hold on. So like, one of my buddies gave me a bag of BBs, and I got it in the speed loader, and I'm trying to load up BBs, and I'm trying to get my um for some reason my GoPro camera is not running, so I'm holding my
Oh,
cell phone. I'm holding my cell phone like this, holding my M4. It was my MTW at the time when I had an
yeah.
MTW. Great Milsim gun, by the way. Um, I was trying to shoot that and like trying to not focus on the gun and focus down, so that's why the footage is a little weird.
That
So
video is you holding your phone?
yeah,
That's good. Yeah. Holy shit. Okay.
me holding my phone and splicing like a 2 minute video into like I think it was like 20 seconds.
Oh my God. This is crazy, dude. So like, well, one thing for sure that I'm thinking when you're telling me this is it's really good that that he said no, it's right now, not like an hour from now, because you would have had to, you'd have been thinking about it, like, oh no, 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 like, oh no, we got to go right now, and it probably helped you, like, okay, just not worry about it, you just go and get on, and
Yeah.
but what's crazy is you're up there now. You guys have harnesses on, right? You're strapped in.
Oh, you're actually in a like a regular seat, and you're just like turned like this in a seat. It's like being in a car seat,
Okay,
but
okay,
just turned. So
I
like you're
got you.
really kind of uncomfortable, like
Yeah.
sitting down. But I was doing that, and then I would anytime like I'd have to like not shoot like when I ran out of mags or like not mags but ran out of BBs and trying to reload, like that's when like everything would get scary to me. Like at one point, um sorry, this buzzer starts going off, and I look over and it says low RPMs. And I was like, hey man, what is that? Like like what is low RPMs? Like I know that's gotta keep spinning. Like I want that up.
Oh shit.
He's like, "This is your first time on a helicopter." Like, what made you know? Like, what made you notice? Like, I'm gripping onto the seat in front of me. Oh, I run out of BBs, and I'm like, all right, like I'm ready for this ride to be over. You can put this down now. And the other dude has got an LMG, so he's just, and
Oh my God.
he's like, you're out of eggs. And I was like, yeah. He throws me back mags, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just keep shooting. So I'm shooting now. That keeps me all right. As long as I'm shooting, I'm all right. But as soon
Right.
as I'm not shooting, I'm like, oh my god.
You're worried about
And then,
you're thinking about the helicopter ride. Yeah.
oh yeah. And then he's like, then we get done, and he like whips the helicopter to come to the land. And I was like, man, I'm about to hit this guy with the butt of my gun. Oh, he's like, yeah, this is the last ride. We have to go and refuel. So the
Yeah.
low RPM thing, and then him whipping it around and dropping it. I was like, yo, this guy is driving me. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'll probably never do that again. But it was probably probably the coolest experience I've ever had. Yeah,
That
one
is
and done
crazy,
for me.
dude. Now, were you yeah, that had to be fate, man. Like, here you are, you're not, you're like not really on board with getting on some kind of flying object, a plane or a helicopter, and here comes a, a free ticket, a donated ticket, and he picks you, you know. Now, were you always, have you always been afraid of flying or whatever?
It's afraid of flying. It's afraid of things that I can't control. So like
What's that
I
now?
can't like
You're
kind of like
it's
things I
cutting
can't
out again.
control.
Oh, there we go.
Ah. like of what I can't control. Like I can't control the plane.
Oh, I gotcha.
Like the guy. Something happens. It's not me in control of flying. I'm putting my total trust in somebody I don't even know. I've never even seen.
Right.
Like he's beyond in the cockpit, like
Right.
like and you're 30,000 feet in the sky, you know, flying around the earth like a god. Like it's just not something we're supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah. Now, how are you with riding in a car if somebody else is driving? You okay with that?
No,
You don't
I
like it?
drive. I drive everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I drive my own car, mostly because, like I said, man, I'm bipolar and I have the personality disorder. So
Yeah.
airsoft helped me like opened up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I credit Lobo to is like opening me up to new people and new experiences because like for the longest time I only had two friends.
Yeah.
Like that was it. And, those are my best friends. I've known them since I was, 14, 15 years old. And those will be the
Mm-hmm.
friends that I will, cherish until the day I die. And then
Right.
Lobo came around and like really like opened up my horizon to like new people who are like minded in the sense that we all play airsoft. That's one thing that we have a common goal in is to just play airsoft.
Yeah.
And so like and he would tell me like, hey man, like I happen to be one of those people that it's not that I try to be the flashiest or anything like that. I just happen to get cool stuff, I guess. What I think is cool, what I
Yeah.
perceive is cool, and if I think
Right.
it's cool, then I want it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it costs this much, and I'm not gonna be like, no, okay, I'm gonna work my ass off and get what I want.
Yeah.
So so like, people would start coming around and being like, oh man, that's really dope, or oh man, I really like the way you look, or man, you look like Capcan from Rainbow Six. The first time that happened, I didn't even know who Capcan was.
Yeah.
And that's the picture of me with the hood on. And I was like, he was like, hey man, he was like, you look just like Capcan. And I was like, thanks. And then like the next week or a couple weeks later, another guy was like, "Hey man, you look just like Capcam," and I was like, "Yo, you're like the third person to tell me that. Like, who is Capcam?" He was like, "You never played Rainbow Six?" So I was like, "Oh no," and I was like, "Oh, let me look it up." And so oh man, that's a pretty cool goddamn character. I like his style.
Right. Yeah. In fact, speaking of those pictures, I was going to bring up uh, a couple pictures on your Instagram and uh, and have you explain it.
This is
This
this
is
is
where?
Bad Blood. This is
Okay.
Bad Blood. This is at EMR at Pennsylvania. It's in New
Gotcha.
Milford. I was part of the Black Shirts. It was a pretty cool event. Probably the largest event I've gone to date with 1,000 people
Wow.
participating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is pretty much the wildest event too.
Really?
There is a gameplay to it, which is like collecting some samples or whatever like that. But there's so many people there, man, and there's so many factions. It's five factions. Um, And I guess we were supposed to collect samples. I didn't do none of that. All I was doing was shooting every other faction that I saw. Um, so like it was just a Wild West shooting show. I don't even know if anybody collected anything. I know there's a lot of shooting though. There's a
Yeah.
whole lot of shooting, but
Yeah, it's a
not a
cool
lot of
picture.
collecting for me. Thank you very much. Oh, I took that picture.
Nice.
Um, that was right before we played. It was super hot that day. It was not projected to be 100 degrees. It was only
Woo.
projected to get into maybe 82 at the
Yeah.
time. It ended up being like 98 something with extra humidity.
Right.
17 people ended up going to the hospital with heat related injuries.
Right.
But other than that, The black shirts had no heat related injuries, and I credit that probably to the embeds that were there. Once you died, once you got hit, you had to go and respawn, and it was like a 10-minute respawn, depending on when you got there. So
Yeah.
like the 10 minutes could have started already, or it could have just started when you got there. So like
Gotcha.
if you just got there and they had already been there for 10 minutes, and there's 30 seconds to start time, you start in 30 seconds. If you
Gotcha.
just get in there, it's just starting 10 minutes. Now you got to wait the whole 10 minutes. But the one thing is that they're doing is they're just telling you reload, mag up. They're telling you reload, hydrate, reload, and they're just screaming that the entire time. So you're just seeing people with their straws just
Yeah.
and yeah. So I credit them for that.
That's good.
Also credit the dry fit shirts, man. Dry fit shirts are legit. To stop
What is
wearing
that?
cotton out there.
Yeah.
Dry fit. It's
Yeah.
like a nice jersey-ish type material that it's
I've
really
seen those.
breathable.
Yeah. Is that like
Yeah,
the brand or model of the shirt or something like that?
it's a
It's some kind of
not the
a
style. It's
mix
yeah, I guess it's the type of mix of um combination
material or
of
whatever that's
material.
like, yeah, it helps you uh, get the sweat out and kind of
And
keep you
dry it
cool and
off.
all that. Yeah.
Well, it's really good, really nice shirt. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. But like H&K makes some really nice dry fit shirts that I like to wear. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But
All right.
yeah,
That,
like I wear a lot of H&K um, gloves, dry fit shirts. They just when that heat, man, you got to stay safe and you got to stay hydrated. And walking around in your military gear while super duper cool, and you look awesome. You're running the risk of dehydration and heat stroke. Cotton and
oh yeah.
polyester don't breathe.
Yeah,
So
man. It's yeah, when you don't realize, most people that haven't been in an environment like that where it's hot and you have all this gear on, you don't realize how much you're sweating. You don't really feel it too much because you have so much stuff on that you're not like dripping sweat, you know what I mean? Except maybe
mhm,
on your face. But if you have stuff on your face as well, like a hat and something that's catching, absorbing all that sweat, you're like, I'm not even really sweating that much. And,
yeah,
2 hours later, you're like, holy shit. Like I can barely catch my breath. I'm, hot as hell. Yeah, because
mhm.
you've been sweating, a gallon in the last two
Start getting
hours.
dizzy.
Uh-huh.
You start looking flushed. Like it got to
Yeah.
the point where that day I think I played. We started at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. By noon, I was off the field. Um, I went I went out. I saw a bunch of people just laid out. They were just trying to get as cool as possible. I went and sat in my car, turned on the AC, drank a gallon of water almost, and
Yeah.
was just sitting there. I did eventually get back out on the field, to finish out the day. But yeah, no, you got to play safe, man. And if you're too hot and whatever, just drink your water, get off the field. It's not worth it. It is just a game, and if you're there to win, I guess I don't know. For me, it's the wrong game for you. Go play baseball, go play football. You're there to win.
Well, the
I'm there to
competition's
get
always
shot.
fun, for sure. And yeah. And you can have fun and but those bigger events, man, from what I've seen, it's really difficult to see progress like on the team that you're on. Like, oh, uh I don't know how many points we have. Like, it's, are we gonna win? Who knows? It seems like it's a difficult thing, especially when there's that many people, man. That's 1,000 people at these events.
Yeah.
The GTI or the event we went to, Stonebreaker, back in March, that was 700 people here in South Carolina, and that's huge. So that's like what you're talking about with all these, it's a lot of people, but nobody really knows who's winning until like the end. Um, so yeah, it's kind of a
I mean,
difficult.
you kind of get I mean, it depends on, I guess, the area. Like
Yeah.
like if you Like at with 1,000 people, yeah, you don't really know. But like when we played like at the other World Milsim games, you kind of get an idea because you know who's holding what for how long. You
Right.
know, you're like, all right, we've held this for quite some time, you know, so I think we're ahead. But then, like, that's the thing though. What theirs is like, you know, you could find things too in the field. There's like ammo crates and different things that gather points for you on the field. So like, there's this one little side mission. Like, if you find an ammo crate, you can bring that over to one of the refs, and then the refs unlock it, and there's random amount of points. It can be, 10,000 points in there. It can be 500, you know?
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool little side mission, but I don't think you can do that with 1,000 people. You know,
Yeah.
like that's just crazy.
It
It
is pretty
literally,
cool to when I hear these. Well, I guess too, it depends on talking about like knowing the progress as the mil sim's going. It depends a lot on your team and like your squad leaders or your COs or whatever. Like some I've talked with people before where they talk about how they have a squad leader or a CO that is like uh, knows all the things that are going on and is very good at communicating the objectives, the mission, the points that are going on, like what kind of keeping everyone updated as to how their team is doing, or green's winning or tan's winning, whatever. So I guess it really depends on, leadership and, so there are times where it can be, you can definitely know a lot more about how it's going throughout the Milsim event, until waiting or unless, except just waiting till the end or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's competition is good. But most people, like you were saying, you guys are there for the whole experience, to have fun. If your team, quote unquote team, at a giant event like that, if it loses, you're not really like totally bummed out. You know what I mean? It's not like
right.
it's way different. Like what you're saying, baseball game or something, or a football game or a basketball game.
Yeah, it's not like
Yeah, it feels different.
a
You still
speed
had fun.
tournament, like where like a
Yeah.
speed tournament is just you and your team versus another team, and you're going at it, giving it your all,
Yeah.
versus a giant Nelson. It's just like, dude, you're there for fun, man. Like,
Oh
if you
yeah.
lost, you lost. Like, I mean, there's been plenty of times like we've gone and the whole team lost, and it's like, boo, we'll get you next year. Like,
Right.
it's just like that. It's nothing like, oh, those guys are cheaters. Like,
Yeah.
doing too much.
Right.
Like,
Well, especially like when you went on the helicopter ride, man, that's probably the highlight of that particular event, and you're like, dude,
uh,
I don't care if we won or lost. Like it was, well, I got to ride on a helicopter.
dude, I don't even know if we won or lost that event.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
I can't even tell you. Like, I mean, we win some, we lose some. I can't even tell you which ones we won and which ones we lost. Like, but I know that every time that I've gone, I had a great time. So it's a win for me.
Exactly.
But got to do a couple cool things because of airsoft, and like right now, like never done a podcast before. I'm actually kind of amazed you even asked me to do one. I don't have 1,000+ following. Just I actually just started even learning to grow a following. I didn't even
Yeah.
try to do that or nothing like that. I mean, I went from like 87 people not too long ago to like 250 within like the last, I think, 2 months or whatever. But I've
Yeah.
actually been playing airsoft for like 3 years. Like,
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's actually kind of common that I found that people have played, been playing airsoft for a while before, and then maybe 5 years or more, and then they just started their Instagram page for airsoft or, a YouTube channel, whatever, like way later. And I don't look at that when I invite people on. Um, I don't look at the numbers. Like I, I don't care if somebody has 5 followers or anything like that. I just I kind of, when I talk to, now if I would have found your channel or your Instagram page like randomly and didn't know, never heard of you, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I would still invite you on, but there has to be a connection there. Like maybe I'm looking through your Instagram and I see some things that are like, oh, okay. Maybe you were at the, same milsim that I talked, that I met someone else at or whatever, that had on here that was at that same event. But, when King Lobo, talked about you, I'm like, yeah, so I don't even look at, the follower stuff. It doesn't, I don't mind. Yeah, not at all. I don't care about YouTube subs or Instagram follows. Those
That's
things.
awesome.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I care about the person, so I don't really.
Or it shows
Yeah,
like the community.
yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm not. I'm like, that's how I am in real life. I don't care if when we go to work, man. If somebody drives up in an old crappy car or something, I never judge people on material things. I've never been that way, and I'm not that way.
Yeah.
So I don't, I know, and it's fun to talk about material things. I'm not against it for sure. If somebody gets a new car and they talk about it, man, I'm excited because they're excited about it.
Yeah.
I
I'm
love to
always
see
happy
some
for
new
somebody
shit.
else.
Yeah. You got a new gun, you're getting something, some new gun built with King Lobo. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
that shit too. That's cool. But I'm way more attracted to, uh, how, the person, like the character of a person, how they got here. If I started working at the same place you're at and we started talking one night, at
Mm-hmm.
work, I'd be like, hey man, where you from? You from New York? This and that, whatever. Like, oh, I play airsoft. Oh, cool. What do you do? Like, and we'd probably have a similar conversation, as we're
Yeah.
having now, so, this is a little more focused. Sometimes it's not, man. Sometimes we get on tangents. We won't talk about airsoft for fucking like 30 minutes. And, so, and I mentioned that before. I was talking with somebody, last week or whatever, and that he's a photographer, and we talked about that. And he goes, "Well, I'm going to make this one story short because we were talking about his photography." And he's like, because it's not about airsoft. And I said, "Well, take your time." And I just said, "Hey, listen, if anyone's listening to this or watching this, if you want to, skip forward a few minutes till we get to the airsoft stuff, go ahead."
Yeah, I
Uh, you
watched that
know,
one actually. That dude is
okay,
crazy.
Trenton
That guy's
Timberlake,
photography is wild.
isn't that cool?
Yeah, I watch. Yeah, so like at work we have these cleaning procedures that they have to do inside.
Yeah.
So because I work outside, we have our cleaning procedures, but it's a lot shorter. So it's like a
Mm,
4 hours while they have 8 hours. So within those
wow.
4 hours, we have a window.
Yeah.
So like while I'm doing just like little extra stuff, I have the podcast running, and you were talking about his pictures. So I came up and I started looking at him, and then I went on his IG and I was looking at him, and I
Yeah.
follow him now. But yeah, those pictures
Nice.
were insane.
Well, that's really nice. I'm glad you said that because that's what I like to hear that because that's what I'm trying to do is connect everyone. Uh, you know, that have never heard of, if you never heard of him and he's never heard of your channel, connect all these people that have different backgrounds in different places. And, we're building a team to where, if you meet somebody through this podcast or heard of somebody through this podcast and you end up start talking with them or chatting with them or whatever, now you have a friend in Texas or now you have a friend in Pennsylvania that, hey man, now you go to the same event and you guys meet
Hmm.
up and you're like, oh shit, we met through, or I heard of you through this podcast or whatever. That's kind of a cool thing, where we can kind of all uh, have this big family that we meet each other through this, this venue. But I mean, this is how I met you, talking with
Yeah,
somebody, you know.
that's how I
Uh,
met a bunch of people. Like that's how I met Rogue.
yeah,
I didn't know him. I met him through Lobo as well.
yeah. Yeah,
Like
Rogue's
Lobo's
funny,
really good
man.
at talking with people. With me, I tend to be a little more reserved at first, only
Yeah.
because I'm just a lot. You know, once you get to know me, I'm a lot.
you know, yeah. So you tone it down and you just kind of keep it
Yeah,
low
like I
key until.
right. I'm the friend that you never want to answer the phone on speakerphone with. Yeah, I'm that friend. Like, don't do it.
Oh
Like,
shit.
it's bad.
I'm gonna bring up another picture. Cool. All
This
right.
one was this is at River City. This is in Hamlin, New York. This is pretty much the home field for everybody here in Western New York.
Okay.
Um, it's used to be called Pure Airsoft, I believe, but now it's just called River City. It's got a really nice pro shop. You know, caters to mostly beginner and intermediate airsoft players.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a really cool time. Great, staff for the most part. It is a small place. You know, it's a mom and pop shop. The whole family works there, so it's cool. I definitely like going there. I go there probably every other weekend as an open play place. We're trying to
Okay.
get there every other weekend.
Now, what
So
gun is this that you're holding?
that was my HPA SSG one,
Nice.
and I sold that, and that's how I got the MCX.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sometimes like I'll buy a gun, I'll try it, I don't like it, and, move on.
Now,
I try not
who's
to.
taking the picture on this one?
Me. I I use the timer on my camera.
Oh, you got like a tripod or something, or is it sitting on
No,
top
there
of
was
something?
actually like a stack of pallets right there that I set my camera
Oh,
up on,
right, right.
and took the picture.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I'll use my phone, or sometimes I actually have a camera Canon that I use to take pictures with. But normally I'll take pictures of other people. So like on the old River City page, you'll see a bunch of pictures, and those are all mostly done by me in the beginning, and then somebody else started doing them.
Oh shit. Okay. Nice.
And I always did them free of charge. I never charged anybody. I just took like hundreds of pictures, and I would always post them up to the Facebook page just for everybody to rip them out because there was nobody doing it. And I always thought like, hey man, it would be really cool to get some action shots. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people would love some action shots for their Facebook profile page, or, just their Facebook page. Like, hey, this is what I was doing this weekend. And,
Right.
and it was actually a pretty big hit. People loved it. And then the one of the owners of the place started doing like drone footage. She's
Oh
really
shit.
good at flying like speed drones.
Right.
So she would fly the speed drones around, and you'd see her in the time with the headset on and the thing, and she's whizzing around the buildings and on top of you.
Oh,
Really
that's
cool
cool.
footage. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna do one more.
hmm This this was a funny day. This was like I think their second week open, and so we decided to team up with another team. So it's me and Ricky, our FTA. The other people there are Chuds. Um, and we won that day. It was just us versus the home team, which was, I don't know, a lot more than what we had there.
Yeah.
And we steamrolled right through them. And they were like, "Yo, man, you got to come back through. You guys got to come through anytime." And so we would go back periodically and play with them.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good. They're good players, man. It's not like there's like the second time we came by, they had a lot more people, and
Right.
they yeah. But it was
Oh,
a
that's
great
cool.
time. It was a fun time. It was perfect weather that day.
Yeah.
The only problem were ticks. I think that was the
Oh,
issue.
okay.
I don't
Yeah, that
really
can be
like
that
ticks.
can be a big issue.
Yeah, yeah. Lyme disease is something I don't want to get. I already have enough issues of my own. That Lyme
Right.
disease ain't one of them that I want.
I I so I used to be on a team um, playing video games, Battlefield 4, So we had a team that we would always play together, and not professionally or anything, but so one of the guys on our team was had Lyme disease, and he got it from a tick, obviously. And so, when he found out about what I was going through, because this is back when, it's about 5 years ago, after the first time I got, when I was paralyzed. So he had a lot of similar symptoms, having Lyme's disease, and he was telling me about it, whatever. So that's the only person I've ever known to, get that or whatever, have that. And but yeah, ticks are crazy, man. They're hard to detect. You don't really feel them on you. It's not like you feel like a bite or something.
Nope. You don't
And
feel a bite.
uh,
You have to. So they're pretty. Sometimes they can get pretty bad up here. Most places try to take care of it. They cut the grass down. Stuff like that to prevent them.
right,
That particular time, it was just perfect conditions for them. That because of the way that the place is, it used to be a giant junkyard. A lot of the cars and stuff got moved away, so it's just like
mm,
old land, and it's just sprouting up huge piles of grass and just perfect
right.
breeding conditions for them. And so yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I had one like crawling across, like as I'm shooting, and I was like, all right,
Crawling
I'm done.
on your
You know, on
on your goggles.
on on my M frames, on my Oakley M frames,
Yeah.
they were just crawling across, right across, and I was like, yeah,
Jesus.
I'm done. So I went and got done, and I was like, I was standing outside in my underwear, asking my buddy to check, and I checked him, and
Yeah.
one of my buddies went home and he found one in his ass crack,
Oh
like
man.
right in the ass crack, just sitting there sucking away.
Oh
And while we all laughed
Jesus.
at that, then everybody took the precautions because you got to wait around 14 days.
Yeah.
If it before anything weird starts happening, sometimes you get like a rash or whatever. And if that
Okay.
happens, that's when you want to go in and get checked out. But you want to grab
Yeah.
it by the head and just yank it out in one swift movement so it doesn't
Mm.
like stay there, or the fangs at least.
I've heard of a bunch of different remedies for getting ticks out, like putting Vaseline on it so it suffocates and it pulls out, tries to get out. Um, yeah,
I think those would be
burning.
like the body flies,
Yeah,
but they're not really too much here. You don't have those.
right. Hell yeah. Well,
Yeah,
listen, man,
no.
it's been great talking with you and meeting you. Um, yeah, very interesting to hear your story and your background and how you got into airsoft. And I'm really grateful for you uh, getting over your issues, with being around people and your fears or whatever, and sticking with it and getting out there on the field and meeting new people and playing on a team. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you, man, for inviting me on the show. I really appreciate it. I love what you're doing, talking to everybody. I love watching the show. I definitely listen, and I listen to the podcast on the drive home, and I do watch the podcast, if I can while I'm at work. So
Oh shit,
I do
nice.
both for you.
I
I do
appreciate that,
really
man.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Well, there's a lot of people on here. I do both because the audio and the video, because there are some, a lot of people on here that show off their gear. There's a lot of visual parts to most of the podcast. So I wanted to do that and also the audio because a lot of these are over an hour long. And if somebody wants to listen while they're at work, it's great, or driving.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate that, dude. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you
And
very much.
yeah, dude, we'll have to do it again with your whole team in the
Yeah.
future. Get you guys on together. That'd be fun.
All right. Thank you very much, man. Have a
Yeah,
great
man.
night.
You have a good night, buddy. We'll see ya.
You too.